Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the CERT Show for this August the 28th, 2025. My name is Lou Bruno. I am returning after missing the last show. Thank you to Jill and Gray and Terry, who did a wonderful job in my absence. I had a bout with COVID second time around for me, but all recovered. No, to be honest with you, the COVID first time around back in 2021 was not all that bad. But this time around, first couple days 1, 2, and 3 were fever. Day 1, you planned your funeral.
we would have been there.
2 and 3, I thought I would. Thank you. You were high on my list, you and Terry. Days 2 and 3, you thought maybe long hospital stay, shorter, but I mean, day 3, and by 4 and 5, the doctor was right. And
you made it.
I made it. So thank Gray for filling in, and she's recovering.
In the studio, though.
Yeah.
Glad you stayed away.
Yes. She's recovering from a bit of oral surgeries.
Right.
So feel better. But it's great to be back here on the CERT Show, presentation of Fremont Township Community Emergency Response Team. We thank everybody at Fremont Township, but especially the people who pay the taxes over there for getting us on the air now in our 10th year of the 20 years of 98.3 FM. And we're going to have our big 20th anniversary dinner and celebration, which maybe we'll get everybody over there. The dinner's reasonably priced,
right?
On September the 26th over at Parkway Banquets. We'll talk more about that. So public is invited, and remembering some of the people that have helped out over 20 years, and among other things, building this magnificent studio here in Round Lake Beach. Thank you to Illinois Department of Public Health, Citizen Corps Council of Lake County, who sponsors us generously and lends us our senior advisor and consultant, Terry Cox. How are you, Terry?
I'm good.
That is good to hear, and everybody here at 98.3 The Life FM really taking the pulse and representing the community here. The show came together over the last month, and I don't think we ever sort of got a team guest approach here, but it's fun because two of our favorite people, two of our favorite agencies are here. Right. Really from the beginning. We've had both representatives from Lake County Forest Preserve District, as well as the Stormwater Management Commission. And so I would like to welcome, they're no strangers to our microphones. Rebecca Snyder, Director of Community Engagement. And I got to put my glasses on since I don't remember. And partnering.
Yeah.
And on her left, again, an old friend of ours. Now 4 years, time flies. The Executive Director of the Stormwater Management Commission here in Lake County, Kurt Wolford. So this is really great for us to have both you guys in the studio at the same time. And from my point of view, you guys are represent two of the agencies in Lake County that really are reaching out and touching everybody in their daily lives here. And so when I saw, posted that, your organizations had cooperation, I said, this is wonderful. People need to know more about it.
That's why we love you, Lou.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. You can come back.
Yeah.
You'll get, now if you keep it up, I may even get you to a free dinner ticket.
Ooh, that sounds
You
wonderful,
know,
actually.
as
I love a
as far
good
as
government geek like me. So.
yes, but it takes a lot more than just one "We love you, Lou." But
I understand.
Okay.
Well, I've got the whole hour, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I've got the whole hour.
We would. That reminds me, we're going to be here from 6 to 7 tonight, every other Thursday. Listen to us on over the air. Excuse me, 98.3 FM. Thank you. You can get us on Radio Garden. You can get us on TuneIn Radio. You can get us on YouTube. We're streaming on the YouTube. Our Twitch TV feed is down. And if you missed any portion of this, you can get the archive broadcast. And certainly, if you want to see more of Rebecca and Kurt or watch them again, you can just play it over and over again on our YouTube channel. So that's good. But hey, I've been known to talk too much.
Well, that's why you're on the radio. So.
That's why I'm on the radio. And Jill, I'm going to throw it to you first. We got the idea of getting them both in here, and obviously we have two busy people with a lot to do on their day jobs. And as we have a lot of people that work for the county or other agencies kindly come over at the end of the day, and why we really thank them is because they had their 9 to 5, and I bet you it's more than just 9 to 5 jobs. And, they generously just, come over here. And we don't have a large appearance fee at 98.3. So, and we, initially saw about the Granger Woods expansion and wetlands preservation. And, Jill, I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll just take things there. Because I know these guys can fill an hour by themselves
Right.
with what they're doing.
Ask, basically what you're working on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lou, shut up.
I had a question for Kurt, because a lot of people, I think, don't know what the Stormwater Management Commission does. Sounds really fancy, but most people know what the Forest Preserve is. I don't think they realize how big they are and how many we have and how many in Lake County. So, yeah. So it's the Granger Woods, right?
Yes, Granger Conservation Area, Granger Woods, known colloquially. A gift originally of Granger Corporation, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
261-acre preserve in Metawa. I'm going to say it wrong, and they're going to send in letters. Is it Metawa or Metawa?
I think it's Metawa.
Yeah,
I'm from England, so don't.
I say it Matawa. So
Metawa? Okay.
I'm wrong, probably.
I'm probably wrong. I can't keep it in my head. No, it's a beautiful preserve. I think we got it in the 90s. But this partnership with Stormwater Management, did it begin with us or did it begin with you, or just two agencies and coming together in a really great way? Let's say it began with the forest preserves, because what we did after acquiring Granger Woods is we got really great donation from Granger Foundation. So I just really wanted to mention that. And what that did is it allowed us to do the hydrologic study to understand what needed to change on that landscape to increase wetlands, to improve wetland quality and to increase the wetlands. And I think that's then where stormwater management comes in, is you're looking for opportunities, shovel-ready on-the-ground projects, and we had that. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. We have a wetland restoration fund program at the commission, and through impact fees that we receive, because we don't want to lose any of the wetlands that we have remaining. They say the state of Illinois since the 1800s has lost substantial amounts of their natural wetlands. We're down to single digits. And Lake County does have remaining wetlands that are vital for our stormwater management. They hold stormwater, they clean stormwater, they help the native plants grow. So whenever there's impacts to wetlands, like for road construction or new development, sometimes those developments have to impact a wetland. And then we receive these revenues, these restoration fees. And then those restoration fees are collected and held in what we call watershed accounts. And we have four watershed accounts: the Fox River, the Des Plaines River, the North Branch, the Chicago River, and Lake Michigan. And when we receive enough funds through these impact fees, then we solicit a proposal countywide to entities such as the Forest Preserve, who has a lot of open land that wants to restore their wetlands. So they're a great partner, but it's a public process, and we solicit proposals, and we want to use those funds to restore wetlands to achieve our no net loss policy. So wetlands can be filled in, and we have great partners where wetlands can be restored and created.
I
There's a lot going on.
oh no,
There's a lot going on that people don't even think about when they go to the forest preserve.
yeah. I just wanted to touch because, and I won't name names because I don't even want to start a restaurant logo controversy or something close to it. Although I will tell you, I've eaten at Cracker Barrel lately, and the new menu items are better. But
Sacrilege.
yes,
This would suddenly turn into a food show, just to let you know.
when Lou's on air,
Right.
it always turns into a food show.
Yeah.
But preserving wetlands is essential to one of your core missions, which is your being stormwater management, which is flood prevention. Because having those wetlands, my understanding, layperson, is it allows water to run off into them and not into our basements or on our roads, etc. Am I sort of there, Kurt?
You're totally there.
Yeah.
And one good example of how to visualize what a wetland is, think of a sponge. You pour water on a sponge and it soaks it up. And that's what our wetlands do. They soak up this water. And if you don't have anything to soak it up, it runs off. And we see great examples of how wetlands do minimize flooding. For example, along the Des Plaines River at Independence Grove, right there, the Des Plaines River, when it gets up to flood stage,
Right.
there's a vast amount of wetlands there, and it just soaks it up. And we don't see all these downstream impacts to the residential neighborhoods just downstream. And it works, and they're the natural stormwater management system. So if we lose all our wetlands, then we're going to need to build new infrastructure. So having wetlands, we actually are reducing the need for larger infrastructure, but we still need that too.
We back onto wetlands in our house, and we've been there for 23 years, and we've never had any flood because the wetlands are right there.
Yes.
So I feel like it's part of our backyard, even though it's not part of our backyard, but it's pretty close.
So some of your listeners would have to remember the big floods of 2019. I remember
Yes.
those floods. We're all
I do.
remembering. It's hard to believe it's been so long. We've had a relative drought, I think, right, Kurt, over the last few years. But in 2019, those massive floods, what we know is that the floodwater in Lake County, 51% of the land that flooded was your forest preserves. And that's exactly what it should be doing, is holding that. Now, it wasn't all wetlands. Sometimes that was trails that needed to be rebuilt and infrastructure that we
Okay.
couldn't access for a few months. But that's exactly what Lake County wants, is you want your forest preserves flooding. It's not your homes and
Right.
businesses and even your roads. If
So
you
it's
can
good
help
that
it.
they flooded.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know the forest preserves in the 1970s, they had the vision to purchase the land in the whole corridor, or most of the corridor along the Des Plaines River. And had the forest preserve not done that, you would have had development pretty much right up to the edge and a lot of flood problems. So the forest preserve, to protect open space and to expand their forest preserve with the new referendum. Yeah, that was awesome that 2/3 of the county voters said, yes, let's invest in forest preserves.
Yeah.
And that does have a direct benefit for stormwater management.
You know, Lake County residents have pretty much always said that. And it's easy to think, oh, somebody else made that decision in the 1960s, actually, to start
Okay.
protecting the watershed and the Des Plaines River watershed. But it was really just people who ran for office and served, and the people who voted for them, and the people who voted for the referenda. It's really just all of us making the decision together to protect this land. And you're right, we own, I think, just under 9,000 acres right along the Des Plaines River. And you can take a trip down the 31 miles of trail right next to it. Yes, it does flood sometimes. It's in the floodway,
Right.
but it's a great resource for Lake County. And actually, speaking of, since we're talking wetlands, I've got to talk about the northern part of that watershed, the Dutch Gap, we call it, or Prairie Stream. These
Yep.
are two huge restoration projects that are being funded through the Army Corps of Engineers. We can thank Senator Durbin for a nice earmark for that. And all of that work is beginning in the next few years. So you're going to see even more wetlands improvements, enhancements, expansion. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and I know the Forest Reserve tracks their, visitors and the public's interest as to what's available But wetlands do attract people. They do want to come out and see it, especially the wildlife that hangs out there,
Yeah.
that's able to inhabit it, which people generally, support, that we're going to have a habitat here that's going to attract, wildlife and whatever, deer and birds and fish and
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, we just got our what we call our report card from residents. About every 3 years, we ask the residents the survey of how we're doing and what the priorities are. We just got that back, and I think we weren't surprised that people said, "Keep doing what you're doing. Keep buying more land." We know that because they supported the referendum
Right.
last year.
I think I filled that out. I remember
67%.
doing that.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very
I
much.
use them all the time. And they were a lifesaver during
Yeah.
COVID
What
because
else?
they were open when everything else was closed. And you could go for a walk in the, in the forest preserve. And that was,
I think we're heartened to see the results of the referendum and the results of the countywide survey that I mentioned that we just got back last month. And to hear that people, one, they understand what nature does for them, not just for their personal health, but their community health. And they value plants, animals, species diversity. And Lake County residents are sophisticated. They understand, nature's benefits,
Oh, does that
ecosystem
include
services.
Terry?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
okay.
It starts with Terry, I think.
All right.
Lake County understands what nature does for them, even if they don't set foot in the forest reserves, even if they're not nature people. And there are plenty of those who aren't.
right.
But they understand floodwater storage. They understand aquifer recharge, right? That's where you get your drinking water in the western part of the county, right, Kurt?
That's right. And in this new studio here, which is
Yes.
a great new studio.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
It's a nice facility here. I had to look on a map to see where it is. And I'm like, oh, you're on Hawthorne Street. Well, just down the road here, Stormwater Management, we own 2 properties because we bought them out because they flooded repetitively.
Okay.
And we did what we call voluntary floodplain buyout, and we demolished it,
Oh,
created open space. And then right across the street over here, I don't know what road this is, but there's a Division of Transportation from Lake County. It's their detention pond. And there's a sign in front of it that says, "Do not mow." Like, well, why don't you want to mow this? And a lot of people think they're weeds, but they're not. They're native plants.
Okay.
And so you let those native plants grow. They help evapotranspirate. They help infiltrate. And the good thing is there's less mowing, so less
Right.
costs too. But there's still education out there that people think they're weeds and you should mow it down. So public
us-
education and outreach to help inform residents and owners that these tall plants are good.
I
Right.
think you do a lot of work on mosquito checking and so on and so forth too.
Oh, it's the flip side of wetlands, isn't it, Kurt? yeah.
There's
We
always
do. We
the-
work on that.
The mosquito argument. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, standing
Yeah.
water is where we see that. And if there's a diverse habitat, we've seen there's birds and other species that will.
Bats, all of our native bats,
Yeah.
big mosquito eaters. So
All right.
Yeah.
exactly your point, Kurt. You had a
Bring in the
diverse
bats.
habitat.
I'm fine with bats.
Bats are
because they eat the
fantastic.
mosquitoes.
Yes, they
Right.
do. Yeah, I don't want them in my house. That's happened before, but bats outside doing a lot of good work out there, keeping mosquitoes at bay.
One of the things I think we talk about every season, and I know the Forest Preserve plays a big role in it, as well as Lake County Department of Public Health is tracking West Nile. But I think pretty much, and Kurt, excuse me, I don't know about your agency tracking West Nile, but this year I think there was just one reported case. I don't know if Rebecca's up on the numbers, but very limited this year. So
We do. It's another great government partnership. You're highlighting one of them today,
Yeah.
but they're all over the place, as Kurt was saying a minute ago. Yes, we ask public health to monitor the West Nile situation. We've had a good few years. I think that might be because of the drought situation. Lake County's still in a drought. I don't know how severe it is right now. It doesn't seem that way after some rainy days this summer. But I think that's the good part is West Nile isn't something we're too concerned about at the moment. But you need to have the health department continuing to track because it can turn on a dime.
good. Let me just reintroduce everyone because I know people tune in on their way home or from work or
Well, I
walk
hope
in.
so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure hope so. But we really are privileged tonight to get 2 of our wonderful guests who have been here before on 98.3 of the Life FM. Rebecca Snyder of Lake County Forest Preserve District, and Kurt Wolford of Stormwater Management Commission. We were talking specifically, and originally had asked him about the combined project to restore wetlands and expand those over at the Granger Woods. But you guys also got another project or two jointly out there, if I'm correct. You're working on something else? I think I saw it. No? Yes?
Well, we've had a few of
Yeah.
them. One of them that was recently completed was up
Okay.
on Milk Creek,
Yeah.
and we did a wetland nursery. And this is an area where Milk Creek was draining into Third Lake and bringing a lot of sediment, a lot of nutrients. And we wanted to work with the Forest Preserve because they're the landowners. And that was actually the first thing I said. And we said, let's work on, I'm like, let's go talk to the Forest Preserve first. Let's make sure they're part of this conversation up front. And they were. So that project was just completed up on Linden Avenue, right across the street from the College of Lake County. And now there's another project over at Ray Lake. So a lot of stuff's happening over at Ray Lake.
You know what excites me about the project across from College of Lake County? Did you all know that we have a native seed nursery? It's right there. It's been there 20 years. It's right next to that project site. And I think what happened is you were doing wetland expansion, and we took the opportunity, to create a brand new wetland native plant bed. So we didn't have this opportunity before. All of our plants were prairie plants, woodland plants. And this is where we collect the seed and we grow it in our own nursery, and we use it then in our restoration projects all over the county. Until this project and stormwater management coming to us, we did not have a bed for wetland plug planting. And the interesting thing about wetlands, and I think it's interesting, is you really can't plant them as seed. You have to grow them out and then plant them as tiny little baby plants, plugs. And it's a very small window. You only have a couple of weeks in the summer to put that in the ground. And so now we have the capacity because of this partnership, and we have our own native bed for wetland plug planting. And I mean, our volunteers, our ecologists, our field staff, thrilled about this partnership. And you all came to us. It was great.
Yeah, when we
Makes me
saw
very
that
happy.
site, we knew the seed nursery was there. And well, why not have this other wetland emergent plant nursery next to that? And it's real close to CLC, so hopefully the younger generations can experience this and learn about it and maybe take careers in it.
Absolutely. We do have, I bet you do too. We have a great relationship with College of Lake County. They have a horticulture program. They're working on urban food production, and both we and they are interested in moving toward training people to do natural areas management. We just don't have enough trained workers in this field, and our agency and many others really need that trained work. So College of Lake County is a great partner. It all comes together right there on Washington Street?
Right there in Washington.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Do you have native plant sales?
We do. Yeah, we have one in the Forest Preserves has one in, let's see, Mother's Day weekend. Generally, it's over 2 days. Sells out on the first day.
Is
so you
that
gotta get
Independence
there
Grove
early.
they do that?
That one is at
Okay,
Independence
I've
Grove.
been to that one.
But actually, you can go online pretty much the entire growing season and purchase through Possibility Place through our website, which is Possibility Place Nursery. And a portion of that comes back to the Forest Preserves, and then you get really great native plants. And it does help Possibility Place keep the market strong for their product.
I think they do water barrel sales too, right?
Mhm. I'm sorry, what's that?
Water barrel?
Oh, we used to. I'm not
Or
sure.
used to do that anymore?
So we did.
Was that not a good idea to have
No,
one? or
it's
not?
No, I'm
good.
saying,
So
I
the
think-
Swalco handles that
just
now.
have-
Solid
okay.
Waste Agency of Lake County, they do the rain barrel sales. We used to do that in partnership, and they've taken that over. So
We used to have two. We've only got one, but that would fill up in one rain.
and it's free.
And it's
Free water.
Exactly.
Free
Free
water.
water.
Exactly.
And it's not going into our storm sewers, and it's not being treated
Right.
by wastewater treatment, which costs a lot. Right?
And it's not pooling up outside,
You
creating,
get your mosquitoes.
yeah,
inside the barrel.
Full cycle.
mosquitoes.
You have to remember to get rid of it before winter so it doesn't freeze and crack. 'Cause that'll happen.
We did have a rain barrel out front in our facility, but people thought it was a garbage can.
Aw.
Like, all right, we got to market that a little
I
better.
loved it. We did a lot of watering with that,
And Kurt and Rebecca both hit on it. That's another agency with Swalco who, in their efforts to collect harmful, materials and substances, the old paints, the old pesticides, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, makes life a lot easier for firefighters like Terry, because those create hazards that often the fire department is out there. But also that stuff gets into the ground and creates pollution problems. And, again, it helps keep wetlands in great condition, so they serve their purpose. So, the interagency interface, I know that's probably the bad word, or not the right word to use, not bad per se, but it's critical that everybody's on the same page and working together. And, you guys are just and
we really
shining
can't do
example.
what we do without each other, without, a partnership like we have with stormwater management. We can't really fulfill our individual missions without doing this work together.
And we feel the same way. It's always been that way. The only way we'll get our projects done is through partnerships, because we don't, besides those 2 properties down the road I told you about, we don't own much land. And those are temporary holdings. We want to transfer those. But like the Forest Preserve as a partner, the municipalities, communities that need to upsize their infrastructure because of increased rainfall, these all require partnerships. Water doesn't follow political boundaries, and we got to look at our watersheds holistically, which has a lot of different partners in there.
Yeah, I please excuse my personal note, and I have a lake house in another part of the state, and I had a set up something to divert water, and tried to explain to my neighbor that you never know when you divert water where it's going to go, which becomes a problem. But Kurt hits it on the head. Water doesn't follow a political boundary. Terry will tell you that disasters don't follow a political boundary. A lot of Terry's work in his career in firefighting, was to setting up joint cooperation between jurisdictions, whether it's between Cook County and Lake County, or even into Wisconsin. And that was an outstanding thing that you did, especially with that, Terry, setting up the mutual aid assistance program.
Well, with all the work that they've done, both agencies between Waukegan, where the old radio station was, and Gurnee, they've really straightened out the flood conditions.
Yeah. I think probably Kurt would tell you that's one of his more publicly known and appreciated projects, owned by the old radio station site,
right?
Which now is dry instead of wet 90% of the time, correct?
Yeah, there's fortunately we received a large grant from the state of Illinois to do regional stormwater improvements throughout the county, and we've completed the first round of that funding, and there's thousands of properties and hundreds of roads that are benefiting from these new infrastructure, that they won't experience closed roads, flooded basements, but still have a lot more work to do. But definitely we're very fortunate and grateful for the state of Illinois and the investment that they've made in Lake County to really bring our infrastructure into the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's just about 6:30 here, so we'll have most of another half hour to go with our wonderful guest here tonight on the CERT Present Show on 98.3 FM. The Life of Lake County, broadcasting from around Lake Beach in our new studio. And really, I have to say, both, our guests tonight have been supportive of our station over the years. And so, everybody that's been a guest here, everyone that's bothered to support the station, come out for our events, which they have, we thank you. And that's why we're here. And that's why we hope to get another 20 years. I don't think I'll be around for the next 20 years, but it's been great on it. The other thing, and that I appreciate greatly, is that I think a lot of people realize that the Forest Preserve has a lot of events that you show up for, especially the concert series at Independence Grove. Terry likes hanging out at the beer garden, and
I think I saw you there last night, didn't I? Too? Yeah, I might have been there too.
but we usually do a group outing over to Independence Grove on one of the
We
concert
did. It was
nights.
like 104 degrees, but it was a great evening.
It was hot that night. Yeah,
Yeah, it was hot.
it was a big crowd for the Beatles group too.
Oh,
yeah.
I know better. I'm out of town that day. Always.
But programming will go on all through October. So
well, we actually call it Septoberfest because October is just not enough. You got to do it all September and October. Thank you for mentioning that. It was on my list to remind people that at the Independence Grove Beer Garden, Wednesdays, Thursdays, we have live music, trivia night last night. I did not win. I couldn't believe it. But it's really a lot of fun now through the end of October. And just come out, enjoy in the evening. I think after 5 o'clock we open till about 9. Till it was a beautiful night last night, gorgeous weather.
Nice.
There's hikes and hops, guided tours. You can get a beer and walk around Independence Grove and have an educator teach you something. There's just a lot to do out there, and of course the playground is nearby and the walking trails. Great place to be this time of year.
And you can have a great website too. It's very easy to navigate, and
Very
it's got everything listed on there. So
check it out.
But but in addition to all the things that the Forest Preserve has to offer, Kurt, I'm amazed at the public programs that stormwater management has to offer to get people out to learn a lot more about plants and water and what they can do to improve their lots. And I know you've just had a few, but I think you get a few more out there.
Yeah. And I guess one way to look at our watersheds, the Forest Preserve, I think, is the largest landowner in the county.
Correct.
So you are the largest.
No, the public is the largest landowner in the county. Yeah, we all are.
We all are. And the Forest Preserve does a great job making their forest preserves accessible and providing trails. I grew up over in McHenry County, and McHenry County has a lot of great areas that they conserve, but you can't really appreciate it as they don't have the trails to access those areas. And I think that's part of the referendum. Like a big chunk of that will be going to trail improvements too, right?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for kicking it back to me, Kurt. I'll talk all night. No, absolutely. So we already have 209 miles of trail, which is a lot. It's about just under half of what Lake County has. We have about 550 miles of trail, believe it or not, owned by the DNR. I'm sorry, the IDOT and municipalities and my beautiful park district and Vernon Hills. But our our trail system is expected to grow. We do have the money in hand now to complete the 41-mile Millennium Trail for segments that are on Forest Preserve land. There are a couple of segments on other agencies' properties, but what we now have, thanks to voters, is the money to construct that remaining trail, this regional trail system, when it passes through your forest preserves, like at Nippersink, for example. Others that just fell out of my head, but so more trails coming. A couple new preserves opening. Lake Murray Forest Preserve has been we've owned it for about 13 years, and it's about time to get trails out there, public access to the Chain of Lakes. That'll be the first time you have Forest Preserve access to the Chain of Lakes. There's other places to dip in, but I think we'll probably have a canoe launch maybe up there. It'll be really fun. Trails there, of course, as well as wetland restoration and prairie restoration up there at Lake Murray Forest Preserve. Major improvements in Greenbelt over in North Chicago. Complete restoration of Waukegan Savannah, which is in the Waukegan area as well. Lots of good things coming thanks to voters.
Yeah, and I guess getting back to the wetlands and the wetland restoration, we are experiencing an exodus of their wetland bankers. So there were private market individuals who would establish and create wetlands, and they would get their charter approved by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and they could sell credits because they have value. But they are now kind of fleeing, or they're closing their doors, and there's no longer a healthy stock of wetland bankers and their credits. So our wetland restoration needs to
recruit
Forest Preserve's not only the largest landowner, but they're probably our largest potential partner to create wetlands. We have a wetland restoration and preservation plan that we created probably about 10 years ago. And what that shows is throughout the county, there are nearly 15,000 acres of potentially restorable wetlands. These are areas that were drained 100 years ago, 150 years ago by the farmers because they want to maximize their crop yield. So they put in a lot of these old drain tile pipes to drain the wetlands to put their crops in. And wetland restoration, sometimes it's not as easy or simple, but you sever those drain tiles, you break them, and then you'll no longer have water draining out of these old drain tiles, and the water will saturate and the soil will convert back to a wetland naturally almost. So these are areas that it's pretty easy, but we need to work with the landowners. But there's about 15,000 acres out there still.
Wow.
I think the last I checked, the Forest Preserves maintains about 5,500 acres of wetlands. I think that was the number I have in my mind. So if you think about it, I don't know that the Forest Preserves could do another 15,000. Probably it's municipal agencies and other agencies that own that land. But we do have a long way to go. We can make a lot of progress on wetland improvements and wetland expansion. So yeah, we're ready to go. Just need the money and the time to get those projects planned.
Yep, and we'll continue with our programs and wetland restoration. There's funds that are still coming in, and we need partners to do this work. So we're very fortunate to work with the Forest Preserve and all our partners out there.
I see a lot of work being done along the Green Strip in North Chicago and Waukegan, in that area too.
Green strip? What's the green strip?
Green strip or belt, I think you're.
Oh,
Yeah, the
oh, well, on
Greenbelt.
Green Bay Road. Yeah,
Yeah.
you are. Yes, Terry, you're right. So Greenbelt Forest Preserve is on both sides of Green Bay Road. It's about 600 acres. And so it's one of the most significant green spaces, serving North Chicago and Waukegan, Zion and Beach Park. Really one of our most densely populated parts of Lake County. And so what we've been doing over the last few decades, well, maybe about 10 years, quite a while, is through grant funding, returning that, removing the invasive species, cutting down the buckthorn, putting in the native plants. That's a shrubland habitat, which is kind of tricky to restore. Lots of wetlands too, though. What you saw last winter is a very obvious clearing project along the west side of Green Bay Road. And we got the calls from the neighbors, what are you doing? You're destroying the landscape and the plants and animals don't have anywhere to go. And what we say is just wait till summer. Just trust us. And every time, then the calls go, thank you so much for turning this back to something so beautiful. I can see now that this is what this is supposed to look like. And that's what's been going on at Green Bay Road right there, the kind of corridor that connects all those communities. And it's an interesting educational opportunity to to convert people from, oh no, what have you done to nature, to, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. Great.
Yeah. Kurt, I know this always impresses me, but you can probably tell me immediately how many projects you actually have going on right now at Stormwater Management.
Well, I can.
Yes.
We
I've asked him that question before. So.
Does anybody ever fact check him? Does he make
No.
it up? No.
No, he backs it up. He does.
Yeah, our capital improvement program definitely has grown significantly, and of all the projects that we're working on at various stages, some of them are still in concept, and we're talking with landowners. We need to get easements. Other projects are nearing shovel-ready status and have their permits, and we have other projects that are in construction, or some are even already done. So different stages in that pipeline, but altogether, I mean, there's probably about 70 projects, and 70 partners that we work with, and not all of them are going at one time. I'd say at one point in time, there's about a dozen projects that are under construction, and then there's another dozen that are being planned. And
So Kurt, our project at Granger Woods was about 53 acres, I think, which a very precocious 11-year-old asked me, what's an acre? And oh gosh, how do I explain? Okay. An acre is a football field. If you didn't know that,
There
I
you
found
go.
that out for this 11-year-old. So tell me, is that a medium-sized project, a small project, or a large project for stormwater?
that would be a larger project, because there were, I think, almost 26 acres of wetland restoration at Granger Woods.
Yeah, there was improvement to some existing wetlands and then expansion. We added some wetlands too.
Right.
Yeah, all told about 53 acres.
Yeah, that's a
That's a big
size.
one?
That's a big one, definitely. And we've worked on smaller projects too to restore wetlands. The money that we did get from the state, it's for infrastructure upsizing, but we do also recognize that nature-based solutions are good too. Green infrastructure, nature-based solution, these are the types of facilities that you can install that you're almost mimicking the natural wetland. The wetland can do it, but if you don't have the wetlands anymore, you got to create these wetlands and restore them. So we have a lot of different tools in our toolbox to mitigate flooding. One of the questions earlier that I probably didn't answer is, what is stormwater management? Who
Right,
are
what do
we?
we do? I know people hear it and they go, well, what do you actually do? You
Sure.
know?
There was a flood in the 1980s. There was two. And so in 1986, the Chicagoland area experienced widespread flooding. And there was a group of municipal leaders that had the courage to go downstate and say, stormwater management can't be managed at a municipal level with all those different political boundaries. You need a more regional approach to manage this at the watershed level. And they felt the counties are the appropriate size to do that. So all of the collar counties in the Chicagoland area have this legislative authority to establish and create a countywide stormwater program. And our commission is based on state statute. Half of them are county board members that are appointed by the county board chair. The other half are all the municipal chief elected officers, so the mayors and presidents, and there's a balanced representation on the commission. So the municipalities, they want to make sure that they have their vested interest in mind, and the county as a whole also. And we put together projects that the different partners and our commission as a countywide agency support. And we also work outside of the county too. So we have a lot of tributary area from the state of Wisconsin that's going to come into Illinois, and it will keep coming in. And the bad news is we're thinking there's going to be more water in the future. So the Des Plaines River right now, thankfully the Forest Reserve bought that property because there's going to be more water coming.
Yeah, Kurt, I remember, I think one of the first times we had you on, you were talking about, at that time, we were talking about the Foxconn plant up in Wisconsin and how that was thought, and I guess it hasn't had, for a lot of different reasons, that big of an impact on us here in Illinois, but the thinking was at that time it could produce some extra flooding down here on it. But, you're right. What happens in McHenry bounces back here. Something that comes out of here, as we know, the Chicago River starts up here in Lake County and flows down all the way into the city. So management is a larger community effort, not just one group, one boundary, one entity has a play in it.
The deep tunnel project was one big project that took many municipalities.
That's in Cook County. Yeah. The land has it's all paved out. So there's not much area to have storage. So they have to go deep underground.
Yeah.
Into tunnels and I'm glad you mentioned that, Terry, because that's something that we're dealing with right now at the commission. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, the IEPA, just released their new, what they call MS4 permit, and MS4, Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. And in Cook County, all of the sanitary water, the wastewater, you flush your toilet, and all the water that comes off the curbs, it all goes into the same pipe. And it all gets treated by a wastewater treatment plant. And when you have these large rain events, you have these overflows, so they need to go into the deep tunnel. So they don't go out into Lake Michigan where we get our drinking water from.
Yeah.
But luckily, Lake County, which was a more rural, suburban landscape at the time, and it wasn't completely paved out yet, there was an opportunity to use a lot of our natural drains, our swales, our channels, and our wetlands as our storm sewer system. So in Lake County, all of the sanitary waste from the toilets and your showers, that all goes through a separate pipe to a wastewater treatment plant. And all of the rainwater and all of the water that comes off your property goes into a storm sewer that's untreated, and that goes right into our rivers and lakes. So the health of our runoff at the local level cumulatively will improve the health of our lakes and wetlands at a larger scale. So it's important that even homeowners do what they can to minimize this pollution, because it all adds up.
Yeah, I was wondering if I have this right, Kurt, because you're the expert. I often say that, grass is great to play on, but it's actually almost as bad as asphalt when it comes to storing water or cleaning the water. So the more is that, if I'm overstating it, you can tell me. But if that's true, then isn't it important that people add native plants to their home landscape? That you really can make a difference on that problem, and don't just expect stormwater management or the forest preserves to take care of it. Like, there is something everybody can do on that problem.
That's exactly right. And we have technical regulatory standards to support that too, because we need to make sure that storm sewers are sized correctly. So if somebody is proposing a development with open lawns, then there's a calculation to determine how big the storm sewer needs because of the lawns. But if it was native plants, that runoff would be less and your stormwater systems could be smaller. So they have a direct correlation to minimizing runoff. And
then the cost of that infrastructure to put it in, the cost to maintain it over time goes down when you apply these simple solutions, at the local level, or even at the commercial level, or the small business, or the home level, or the new development level. You can really save a lot in the long run. And then you get all those multiple benefits, because you're also sequestering carbon. You're also cleaning the air. You're also making a habitat for
Right.
beautiful pollinators and birds and all kinds of species. So
I
it's
think
a triple
green.
win.
I think the local greenhouses have a small section of native plants, but it doesn't
Yeah.
seem very big.
Right. So the more people demand those, the more the market grows. So we all start demand. That's why if you buy through Possibility Place all year round for the forest preserves, yeah, it comes back to us, but it keeps building the market for those plant providers,
Right.
because they're not going to produce it if nobody's going to buy it. Right.
Right.
Go buy natives. There you go.
it also, I heard, it increases property values. If you're
the
looking at
native
the back
plants?
of a natural area, or you're looking at the back of a loading dock, I think
Jill's got a place to be, so
we
it's
have,
just
yeah, well, I'll
gorgeous.
show you a picture. We have beautiful wetlands, but they
Yeah.
are. I used to be able to walk right across Campbell Airport, right across the wetlands when we moved in, and the trees now, or the vegetation, whatever's growing in there, is at least 20 feet tall now. So we're trying to get a controlled burn or something to make it come back. And
It does all require management. Nothing is
We're
magic
working on
and
that.
doesn't need management.
Right.
Jill and I and Terry, we've set up a number of double interviews, double guests from various walks of life lately. Seems this year we've done that a few times. These guys are great.
Yeah.
We're the best.
where do we rank?
Yeah.
No,
It's not number one. I don't want to know. It's not number one. I don't want to know.
you're. I just, when that happens, I just sit back and go like, wow, these guys are great together. They just talk.
It's interesting information that you wouldn't really get
Yeah.
anywhere else. I mean, people just don't know about this stuff.
Well,
Not everybody knows.
And I think
about
both of our agencies, that's part of our mission too,
Right.
is to promote and make sure that public education outreach is a big part of it.
it is. And thank you all for giving us this forum. I don't know about you, but I think it's a whole hour to talk about this stuff.
I'm taking credit for it.
Come back.
Anytime.
I had a question about sinkholes.
Yeah.
I mean, going around some of the sidewalks and paths around a subdivision and, different areas. So you don't know what's going on underneath the tarmac. So I don't know how long it takes for that to wash away, or what is a major flood and everything's washed away underneath. So then everything collapses and so does the commission address any of those or that issue?
Well, we do if a sinkhole becomes a surface issue, and we've definitely I've seen some scary sinkhole situations,
Right.
and one of them was under Route 120, and there was very small, like a quarter, looked like a quarter, which you could look through, and it was on the side of the road. And I was able to look through this tiny hole with a flashlight, and it was this cavernous opening
Wow.
under Route 120 that could have just failed. And it was because of an old drain tile. Just the soil is slowly liquefying and draining
Right.
out.
Just erodes away, and then
Yep.
nobody knows that because the road looks fine.
I absolutely did not know we had sinkhole problems in Lake County.
Well,
One more thing to worry about now.
So I don't want to say that we have sinkhole problems, because one of the interesting parts of Lake County, and why is it called Lake County? Well, we have a lot of lakes, and these lakes can't drain into the ground because we're sitting on a very thick layer of dense clay. Okay. And clay is really great. It's not sand that's going to
Right.
wash out. So these sinkholes are in areas where, there are some of this difficult, challenging soils. So it's not widespread, but in certain areas we do see sinkholes. And these old drain tiles, that's where we see a lot of them. We call them blowouts. And what happens is the water just kind of drains through these old drain tiles. And then when they get backed up, they blow out, and they're over 100 years old.
Like clay, right?
They're old clay tiles.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah, and
go.
that's a problem throughout the county. I mean, you don't even know that you have them in your backyard, but they're there.
There's drain tiles, and we don't know
Yeah.
where they're all at either.
All right.
Right.
The farmers put them in, and they didn't
Right.
turn in a map that said, here's where we put it.
When they sold it, they didn't bother telling the developer, and they just covered them up.
Yeah.
And then they're still getting water in it. God, we only have 7 more minutes before we all have to depart. I'll give 2 minutes to each of our wonderful guests to say what's ahead for the fall for Forest Preserve District, and then we'll turn it over to Stormwater Management.
I get 2 minutes? Okay. No.
2 minutes.
All right. I'll try to limit myself and pay attention. I already mentioned Septoberfest. It's just, you can go out to any of your preserves every day of the week, all year round, 6:30 a.m. till sunset. So never forget that. But the beer garden has Septoberfest from now until the end of October, Wednesdays and Thursdays, special events, all free, for example. Right now at the Dunn Museum, I know you like the Dunn Museum.
I do. I love the
know,
Dunn
it's
Museum.
Yeah, I
fantastic.
love it.
Yeah.
I love
By
it.
the way, we need to celebrate. Just got reaccredited by the American Alliance of Museums.
Congratulations.
This is a high standard. Only 3% of museums get this accreditation, so we just got it. Congratulations. We have National Geographic Greatest Wildlife Photographs is on display, and a brand new exhibition called Alex Ross Heroes and Villains. Comic art, very popular, and it's in our brand new East Gallery at the Dunn Museum. And then the last thing I'll say, because I think I have 1 minute left, is I think you're celebrating an anniversary, 20 years, right?
20 years.
Congratulations.
September 26th, Parkway Banquets. The public is invited. Individual tickets are $75. It includes dinner. I highly recommend the food, and it's a great location right along the lake there. And we're going to have a lot of our people from 98.3 providing
Right.
entertainment, and there'll be award ceremony. So we hope to see you guys. We would love to see you guys
Fantastic.
there.
So I get 45 more seconds because I just did that to
Okay.
Lou. But no.
How can you do that to Kurt? Come on.
No,
I'd
no.
like to defer
That's-
1 minute to Rebecca.
You're celebrating 20 years, and on September 6th, which would have been our founder's 100th birthday, we're calling it Be an Ethel Day. Ethel Untermeyer, our founder, established the Forest Preserves. On what would have been her 100th birthday, we're celebrating her by challenging everybody to be an Ethel, and that means volunteer. That means go for a walk at a new preserve. That means give if you want. It means show up at a celebration at Independence Grove. It's an open house. It's going to be a lot of fun with cake in honor of our founder's 100th birthday. Saturday.
Hold. Did you say free cake?
Free cake.
Terry,
No
Terry.
charge.
he's
Yeah.
there. What time does he have to
Yeah.
arrive?
1 o'clock, Ryerson Woods or Ryerson Conservation Area in Deerfield.
Terry
It's
will
on
be
our
there
website.
early.
Yeah, free cake.
Is that
You
Ethel
have
Woods?
an area
Named
for
after
walkers.
Ethel's Woods. Oh my
Ethel's
gosh,
Woods?
Phil, you're my favorite. Ethel's Woods was named for Ethel in 2008. She ended up passing away in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, Ethel's Woods, one of our most beautiful preserves.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
now
right.
see that was your fault, Lou. I took his minute.
Okay, Kurt.
No, it's okay, because I can't make as fun as the forest preserve. You've definitely got that. But yeah, we are definitely keeping busy, and we're excited that this won't be till next spring, but we do our homeowner association workshop where we help homeowners on the, they join their board, and then they find out that, that detention pond needs to be maintained, and
Right.
how,
My husband's on the board.
yeah. And so
he is.
they learn that they need to maintain these areas, and how should they do it. So we do this workshop, and we've been bringing in vendors that can help the residents with this. So we want to have a vendor expo to include the different vendors out there that can work with natural area management, wetlands, and all that. So that's not till next spring, but this fall, we're going to have this new permit that I was mentioning that came out for all these separate storm sewers, working with our communities. But the public, as part of this new permit, all communities need to update their stormwater management plans. And we're going to be updating our stormwater management plan, which we haven't done that since 2002. It's very old. But luckily, the laws of gravity haven't changed. Water still goes downhill, so we can still do a lot of the same things we're doing. But the public, they can provide feedback to their community on these stormwater management plans. So if you're a resident in a municipality, or if you're an unincorporated Lake County, you can talk with your townships. But all municipalities can be updating their plans, and public feedback is very important. And then also, if there's water quality concerns in an area, notify your community. Let your municipality know. Luckily, I don't know if you heard what happened in Milwaukee last month. They had a 1,000-year event, and then,
except those things keep happening like every 5 years. Or
but I
yeah.
gave, at this workshop, I said they're good for another 1,000 years. They had it. So no,
That's not how that works.
That's not how it works at all. It could happen tomorrow. But then also south side of Chicago, they got pretty bad basement backup flooding. There was about 5,000 homes in the Chicagoland area. So luckily, Lake County, we dodged a bullet this summer, but there has been lots of flash flooding all over the news. We did get some bigger storms in Lake County where that helped to test the infrastructure, see if there's clogs or maintenance needed. So I saw it in my neighborhood where there were certain curb inlets that weren't draining down. And why are they? They're probably clogged. So just if homeowners or residents see areas that are not draining down as fast as they usually do, call your municipality. Probably needs to be cleaned out, and they can do that for you.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, this has been a fabulous hour. Thank you all. We're going to have to, schedule this one again. I'll have you back together
it's good
in the spring. And I can't really urge people enough. Get out to your forest preserves, take part in, a lot of the free, wonderful entertainment that's there, and getting out
Even
in nature.
winter, with the cross country skiing.
All
and
year
everything.
round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every day.
You will see, go to Stormwater Management's Facebook page. They have a number of courses that become available for the public or for government agencies that are quite valuable. And guys, we just thank you for what all you're doing. And we can't see you back here soon enough, or maybe at the dinner, as we said. Jill and Terry, 2 weeks. What is that? The 11th? God, September 11th. So I got to get off the air here. For Terry, for Jill, myself, and our wonderful guest. You guys have a wonderful Labor Day. Take care, and we will see everybody soon. Have a great weekend.
Lou, I don't know if you heard about the kidnapping at Gurney Mills.
No, I didn't. But that's topic for another show.
They woke him up and everything was fine.
Okay. Take care now.